Hello, everybody. Uh, Welcome to Alpha One. This is Glory, and today in the series of Kali, we will be discussing about Bhukti and Mukti, which is uh, power and peace uh, as biological capacities and how they are both coexisting in the tantric realm. Tantra never speaks of one versus one superior to the other, but both as being biological capacities. You were taught since a very small age that you must choose power to or peace. Only success or liberation has always been seen as two different modalities of life, two different streams of life that has to be chosen. The burden of choosing this or that. But in the path of Tantra, we say this is complete ignorance of a chosen life. So let me bring your attention to a phrase from Bhairava Ashtakam, which goes like Bhukti Mukti Dandakam Prashashta Charu Vigraham. Bhukti Mukti Dandakam Prashashta Charu Vigraham. Now, this line isn't poetic symphony of words, but it is a dual output. It is a dual output of your nervous system, where bhukti, which is power or enjoyment or indulgence, is not merely just indulgence, and mukti, which is liberation, is not merely an escape, but both bhukti and mukti, power and peace, are but biological capacities which a individual or every individual is capable of, right? So let's talk a bit about what bhukti is. Bhukti, which is power, is metabolical sovereignty, is the biological capacity of appetite, So the ability, bhukti merely is the ability to process energy, food, pressure, and stimulations without collapsing. It is a state of high metabolic efficiency and high vagal tone. So, a dysregulated nervous system would treat stress as poison, but a sovereign system, a nervous system which is absolutely regulated and is trained around handling stress, will consider it as a fuel for transformative growth in life, right? So your cortisol at this stage, your cortisol does not destroys your body. It mobilizes it, and at this point, Bhairava does not remove intensity from your life, but he upgrades the hardware of your body, of your biological system of the body, to handle that sort of intensity that does not destabilizes you. So most leaders, if you know, are trained to be leading capacities of an organization of uh, enormous size without being trained around nervous system and attaining mastery of their own biological capacities. So the capacity to process pressure, intensity, money, work, relationships, and stimulations without collapsing into a burnout, or without making your indulgences as addictions or emotional leakages. A state where you can absolutely engage and never get addicted, absolutely be very thoughtful about a human being and never get obsessive about them or get emotionally drained about them, is the state of Bhukti. And now let's speak a bit about what is Mukti. Mukti is that state of a human being, or let's say, to be more precise, the human nervous system, where there is a neural sovereignty. Now, what do I mean by that? A neural sovereignty is freedom from the internal narrator, the internal dialogues that we have based on our preconceived notions of lived trauma throughout our life, which is your past experiences, your past trauma. So it is basically, Mukti is liberating you from your own history. It is the mechanical bypass of default mode network, about which I think I have spoken about in one of my previous videos. If you want to learn more about it, you must go and check one of those videos of mine where I have spoken elaborately about DMN, which is default mode network, and how does it dominate your behavior, and how you can train yourself to just shock your own nervous system of your own preconceived notion or your behaviors dominated by your past experiences, to completely see the present situation truly for what it is and not be influenced, and your experiences not be influenced by your past. Past is also Bhuta, which is ghosts. So just a quick conversation around ghosts are nothing but your past trauma. So Mukti is liberating you from your own ghosts of your past, right? So this default mode network sustains on self-referential thoughts, like we discussed, like replay of shame due to previous experiences, future anxiety based on prior experiences of traumas. When such dominance drops, when such dominance of your bhutas of past drops, the present moment regains authority. You truly see a situation for what it is at the present. You understand your external reactions better without putting it on a middleman, which is your past experiences, while remaining internally absolutely unattached. You enter the most explosive slash combative dialogues without preconceived notions, right? Without preconceived notions, biases, and with absolute internal peace and zero reactive reflections of emotions. So completely, how does this looks like? It looks like a completely stable internal signaling to your most explosive external environment. That is liberation. That is what mukti is. And this is not spirituality, this is absolute neurobiological work. It is a biological capacity which is completely trainable, and you know, if you are willing to put the work, that is the question. So bhukti without addiction, mukti without withdrawal, this is not spirituality, this is biological optimization. This is being a sovereign ruler of your life, completely biological capacities. These are not opposites. Power and peace are biological capacities and can be attained together. So this is what makes Tantra so much more fascinating and so different than what you have been taught. Thank you.